A bar called the Mine Shaft.
Hell yeah.
You can use your imagination on that one.
Yeah. They loved me.
And we are ready whenever you are.
Fucking pass me that, bro.
My word. Like a chimney.
Yeah.
Like a chimney.
I like it toasty hot, bro.
I can tell. Simmer down there, Copernicus. That thing has some weight.
Oh, yeah.
Probably better at putting fires out than starting them, huh?
Would you shut your mouth?
Holy. All right. Are we going? We are back. The Wolves Only podcast powered by JWX.
I'm excited to be here.
I didn't even say your name yet.
Okay.
Dan Herrick.
It's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a good one.
So let's just get right into this.
Let's go.
Ever since you joined,
Yeah.
I've been stoked.
Dude, me too.
That's great. Your fucking energy, your attitude, like everything that you brought so far has been a blast, and I've been really looking forward to this show specifically. We have like the same humor.
Dark. Twisted.
Yeah, all of it. And it's really cool. The most rewarding thing of what I get to do is like meet all these different personalities. And often, more often than not, I find people that I jive with, but some of them I'm like right away, like within fucking 10 minutes of knowing you, I was like, did we just become best friends?
Yes, we did.
It's pretty cool. And you like cigars?
I do. I didn't know this was going to be a little special treat here, but
Oh, absolutely.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I always stay stacked.
Yeah.
You know, with I like these. I like the Cohibas.
It's good. It's nice. It just feels good between my lips.
Well, that's good. So, you are a career fireman,
Yes, sir.
and do you like it?
I like it. It has been a journey, to say the least. So it's quite a process to get into. But started off working for a department that was really good, aggressive, busy, and
That was Long Beach?
Long Beach, yeah. A lot of time away from home. So it was not conducive to a healthy kind of family life, and coming home tired and being gone from the house. So switched over, tested with another department, started with Riverside City here in California still, and have been there for a couple years now, and a little bit more time at home and enjoying it.
You know, we have a number of firefighters in our program, okay? And one is up in like a rural area in Canada,
Yeah.
right? Another is in like a retirement community in Florida. One was in Denver, which I could imagine would be exciting. Chris Revel is in Vegas.
Yeah.
That's got to be crazy.
Yeah, he's doing it.
But I could not imagine California and Long Beach out of all places.
Yeah, Long Beach is wild. They kind of make a joke of like 5 years there is like a whole career somewhere else. You are running 20 to 30 calls a day. You're seeing everything. And it was a very quick learning curve. That was my first job in the fire service. So
Jesus, yeah, I can
welcome aboard.
Just that in LA County is just like people think like the movies are just the movies.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, man.
No.
Like
it
this
is,
shit happens.
Yeah, it's gnarly. You get a shooting and then you're like, all right, well, we know in a couple hours we're going to get a retaliation shooting, and just start being ready. Like,
Really?
Yeah, it's busy. But it's fun. I enjoyed it.
Okay. And did you live out there or did you commute?
No, so I used to live in Orange, city of, and commuted. And then when I was buying a house, I forwarded it out in Riverside, Corona. So then I was commuting. And then that's why even more when Riverside City opened up, I was like, hey, this is going to be a little bit closer of a drive.
That's cool.
Like 10 minutes to work now.
But you must have had a good bond with the guys in Long Beach.
Still
huh?
do. Still do. That's, family. Some of the stuff you go through, it's a weird career. Like, you can't really explain, or I guess you can. Military, fire, police, a lot of those are kind of very similar, but working at maybe an office job, not quite the same, where you've gone through some crazy traumatic things together and literal life and death situations with your brothers and sisters, and you're like, oh, we're bonded for life together.
Yeah, and you really get dropped in the shit too.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine there's like training day. Like, I would imagine that once you're on, it's like they need all the manpower that they can get.
Yeah, so you get hired, and then for Long Beach, they had an academy, so you're there for like 18 weeks, kind of just boot camp, if you want to call it that. And then afterwards, your first day on is you're doing it. If you get a structure fire, you get a structure fire. If you get whatever it is, you're trained, you're in.
Man.
Yeah. It was fun.
It's wild. It's the whole, like, the culture of first responders. Like, you guys are different. You guys just are fucking different. And I can tell, like, why you would have dark humor, right? I mean,
yeah.
It's so funny because people get offended so easily. And it's like, the people that get offended, they just haven't lived through shit.
Yeah. And the term is gallows humor, but it's a coping mechanism. It's stuff that you have no rational way to process things. Yeah. There isn't a reason or, nothing that you just saw made sense.
Right.
And so you have to do these dark gallows type humor to just make some sense of it.
Right.
And process through things. And they're really good. We've got basically counselors that'll come over after some crazy call and help walk us through stuff. But a lot of it is just peer to peer, like just sitting at the kitchen table and talking and opening up and, hey, that was gnarly. Like, how you doing? Just opening up to each other.
What's the gnarliest thing you've seen?
Oh boy.
Can I ask?
That's a weird question because
a
lot of times
I don't know what's appropriate or what's not.
Yeah. So I can't even say some stuff, but, that's a weird question in the first responders thing. Cause then, like, boom, you just remembered everything that you've seen.
Shit, yeah.
No, but I'm good. But the worst things you can imagine, dude, kids that have been destroyed and just things that are like,
maybe I shouldn't have asked that.
Things that are not like normal for humans to process and see. And a lot of that stuff was really hard for me to go through. And, so it definitely has helped shape my story though, which is why, like, I'm doing a lot of stuff I'm doing now is because a very few amount of people can understand what it's like to kind of go through some of those experiences.
What a way to start this.
Yeah, dude, we're in deep.
Yeah. I mean, it's, we have another coach of ours who is he's a CIA contractor. And like, I had to like go through like a full blown, like, here's what you can ask, here's what you can't, here's what I can talk about.
You can ask me anything. I have no clearance.
No, but again, I'm not trying to drum up any of that. I just, I always get curious just because, like for me, I was asking Chris Revel about Vegas, like, and what happened with the.
Was he working or at it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Gnarly. I had a bunch of friends who were there, like concert going, and everybody just jumped in. Like if you were a fireman or a cop, you basically started working and helping people. But
it's incredible. I watched the 11 minutes.
I couldn't imagine being there.
And yeah, there were a lot of first responders that were just there as goers, and they saved lives.
Yeah.
Imagine, like, you think it's your day off.
You're just going to a concert, and then it's literally a moment in history.
They did a really good job in showing like how the community got together and what Vegas did, and I love Las Vegas is like a second home to me.
Yeah.
But it's just really cool to see like a city like that where you have millions of people dropping in. Yeah. And just there to visit, and the way that those people just like, I mean, it's incredible,
Yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine it. Can't imagine being there.
So talk to me. Are you so you are sober?
Sober, yeah. Fairly recent. We're at about, I could look at my exact app, but 8 months and 30 or 26 days, I think. I had struggled. So fire service, you see a lot of bad stuff. I'd already been having problems at home, marriage. Life was in a dark spot. Then I lost my best friend, and that was like kind of a turning point. He
was also a fireman?
No, just my closest buddy.
Okay.
And once I lost him, it was like, well, nothing really matters. Like, start drinking hard, start just getting blacked out and full-blown alcoholic. We can call it functioning, whatever. I was still showing up to work, but not living any type of quality of life that would have been healthy. So then, long story, ended up pretty much at the end of my rope and was ready to end it.
Really?
Yeah, ready to take myself out. And when I didn't, then it was like, well, what does anything really matter anymore? I had gotten divorced, and through that was then like, well, I need to, show people that I'm still okay. And so then it would just be like a maintenance drink, like, oh, I can not be an alcoholic, but I'm still using alcohol as a tool and as a means to an end, and still using it to fulfill some type of brokenness. And then it was like, well, what am I doing? Like, I'm still drinking to say I'm not drinking as much, as confusing as that sounds.
No, it doesn't. That's very common. It's kind of the psychosis of being an alcoholic.
Yeah. And so then it was like, all right, I'm good. I can just have, one drink at an event and whatever. And so removing it completely, getting sober, literally removing it as a crutch and no longer having any purpose in my life has been a game changer.
And you're remarried?
Yeah. Found the love of my life during COVID. Tinder, out of all places.
Nice.
The world was shut down.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? She's like, where do you work? I was like, I'm a fireman. She's like, oh, I'm a nurse. I was like, oh, great.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She was like, where do you work? I was like, I work in Long Beach. She's like, no way. I work in Long Beach too. I was like, what?
How long you guys been married?
So we got married last July. So coming up on a year. Super exciting. She's got 2 kids. I've got 2 kids. We kind of took the slow route, doing a blended family. We didn't know what it was going to look like. So when we started dating, we were like, all right, you're not meeting my kids. I'm not meeting your kids. Like, we got to make sure we're good. And then about a year later, okay, you can meet my kids. Okay, I'll meet your kids. And then about a year later, okay, let's do this. And it's been a really exciting journey.
A lot of relationships started during COVID.
Yeah. Well, and it was really cool because
It was permanent. It was like mandated cuffing season.
It sure was. And I think it was a cool. So for me, in my life, I had grown up in the church, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. We're back in the church and taking our kids, but there was this level of I believed my self-worth was based on like being internally good. So, and I say internally because I would do things. Oh man, I would shoot paintballs at cars, and they would pull into my parents' house and knock on the door, and I'd get in trouble. But that was like, oh, that's cool. Like, Dan's just being crazy. But then if I told a lie, like, I'm not going to let them know that I lied about something. And then when I did something else, I'm not going to let them know I'm drinking. Oh, and so I built this kind of facade of like hiding behind things internally because I thought my self-worth was based upon that. So then when my life had pretty much completely crumbled, depressed, divorced, alcoholic, I was an open book. And so the COVID years of online dating, I met this stranger and I told her everything, every flaw, every imperfection, and she loved me. She was like, me too. I've got a bunch of problems too. And so that was like the most refreshing and healthy, reviving relationship I've ever experienced. So it's been the coolest relationship I've ever had.
And you don't have kids between the two of you?
Nope. I got tied, and she's not wanting any more kids. And
let's talk about that.
Yeah, tell me.
I am too.
Yeah.
Easy procedure.
Super easy. Man, see, you're gonna open up things here, Justin, that I don't know if this podcast is ready
That's gonna bring
for.
back some trauma too, or what?
No.
I need one too.
So, easy procedure, but they tell you to wait 7 to 10 days.
What do you mean by that?
To have sexual relations. They don't want you to have anything come down the pipe.
Oh, they want you to they want you to test it out.
No, but they want you to wait like 7 to 10 days is what my doctor told me.
Before you
do anything. Yours didn't tell you this?
Well, he told me he wanted me jerking off.
How soon?
Well,
mine said to wait like a week.
It's been a while.
Mine said to wait.
It's been about 8 years.
And I didn't wait. And that was a unique, painful experience. And that's where I'll leave it.
Interesting.
For anybody listening.
So don't come within 7 days of getting your vasectomy. Listen to this. I'm so excited
for my parents to listen to this.
I got my vasectomy on my lunch break, and I didn't know I was going to get it. It was arranged.
What?
Yeah, it was arranged. It was an arranged vasectomy.
By who?
Well, it was suggested by my father.
Yeah. Did you return to work?
Same day, business suit and everything, ice pack on my nads.
Wow.
The guy who did it was an old doctor, very old man, very soft hands.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think he wore gloves.
Incredible.
He said he's done like over 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
And he went in and out.
Well,
Didn't
it's
hurt.
incredible nowadays. It's
Yeah.
called needleless, but the one I got, but they still,
They singe you.
yeah, it's incredible.
They singe the sack.
Yeah. You can smell it.
Yep, I remember the smell.
Yeah. Visceral.
But I went back to work, and that was against his. He said don't. He said go back the next day. I still went back to work, and that was when the Star Wars came out, and I got blackout drunk,
Wow.
and I went to the Star Wars movie, and I passed out in the movie, and the ice pack broke in my pants, and I thought I pissed myself in the seat.
Wow. You have quite the life.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah. I mean, that's a word. Yeah.
That's a word.
That's a word. Exciting. Okay.
No, I know, I really did. This was, and it's funny because I think I drank before. I think I was drinking on my way to the doctor's office before I even got my vasectomy.
Yeah.
Drunken vasectomy.
Well,
Hopefully he wasn't drunk.
he might have been. Wow. That's, that wasn't my experience, but I'm glad that you experienced that.
Yeah, well, I put it all out there, you know. So you got that done. And yeah, Steve, you need to get one too because you got a lot of fuck trophies.
Yeah, sure do.
Yeah.
I'm good. I got 3 kids. I'm good.
He's
Yeah.
gonna-
Called it good.
Yeah. No more.
yeah.
I'm good.
Well, you know, you see these people that got like 5, 6 kids. It's like, how fucking egotistical are you? You have 5 of you running around?
Yeah. Yeah. No, we're good. It's been really cool to see. So before we brought all the kids together.
How old are they all?
So I've got a 4-year-old, a 6-year-old, and then she's got a 7 and 11.
Oh, okay.
So when we were dating, it's like, oh man, what if your kids hate my kids or my kids hate your kids? Like, because there's, you don't meet every single person in the world
What are
that
the
you
odds
like.
of that, though?
I don't know. You see kids that when you were growing up at school, did you like every single kid at school?
No, I hated most of them.
Right. So I was like, oh shoot, what if that happens to be your new step sibling? So we went to some parenting courses. We went up to a little like seminar for blended families. We were like, oh man, let's try to do this right. And so we just kind of slowly started like bringing up the idea to each other and then bringing them involved and then just going out to like a park, like, oh, we're just going to play for an hour. And like, these are friends. And it is so cool now to see them as just siblings.
Right
And they even say, they know, like, we've never done like that. This is your mom, like that's stepmom. Your mom still has a role in your life. I'm stepdad. Your dad still has a role in your life. We've never tried to replace that at all. And yet they do it. They'll be and they're like, oh, well, my brother's doing this. And oh, my sister's.
Oh,
it's like,
yeah.
it's so cool. So cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I call my stepsister my sister.
Yeah. Yeah. It's awesome.
And we're adults. And I was an adult when my stepmom and dad got married. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect. My parents wonderfully are still married. So I never I was like, oh my gosh, my kids now are in a broken home and going to have step siblings. It's been incredible.
It's probably more rare that people that I know our age have parents that are still together.
Yeah. And that's what I'm coming to learn. Like I was so sheltered in that I was like, oh no, this is going to be terrible. And it's like,
So you grew up in the Christian church?
Yep.
Non-denominational?
Non-denominational Christian church. Parents were super involved in it. I was super involved in it. And then that was also what added to that facade and mask. I was like, well, I can't tell people
Big
now.
church, small church?
Big church. Yeah, big church. I don't know, 3,000 people on a Sunday morning. Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah.
I was homeschooled.
Yeah, me too, dude. Yeah. I mean, so my wife makes fun of me because she's incredibly smart. She's got a master's degree. She's extremely smart. And she's like, oh, homeschooled. My mom was a principal for a school district. My mom loved how the school system worked. So she had us on a routine.
Yeah.
Okay, this 8 a.m. is math, 9 a.m. is English.
Yep.
And then in high school, we went to a school. But yeah, I was homeschooled.
So I was...
You can still turn out okay.
Yeah, look at us now. No, it's funny. I ended up homeschooling my junior and senior year of high school. But it was because my brother and I got in a really bad accident, a boating accident. And he wasn't going back to school. And I was playing music and stuff. And I was in the worship band. I went to a 4,000 or 5,000 member non-denom church.
Yeah.
And was very involved. My best friend, roommate all the way through college, was the PK.
Yeah.
And I was actually homeschooled.
That means pastor's kid for those who don't know.
Yes, pastor's kid. His name's Mitch. Great guy. We're still close to this day. We started doing like trips and stuff, like wakeboarding trips with like all the people and the kids in the church. And my homeschool teacher, his name was Gabe, and my brother's was Spencer. And they were in the worship band with me, and then we went on to do other music adventures and tour together and things like that. But that was like, that was how I was raised. Was in the big mega church, and your eyes are opened up to a lot of it, and I have since left the church. It's been a long time. I've been away from it. Found out that I was Jewish.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Do you get to go to Israel?
Well, I mean, you don't have to be Jewish to go to Israel.
No, I think you get to they pay for you to go.
Yeah. The funny story is I found out that I was Jewish by another Jew, and he assumed that I was, and because of my last name. And I was like, he's like, you Jewish? And I'm like,
no.
And I was like, no, I don't think so. He's like, bro, your last name is super Jewish. And I was like, he's like, well, what are you? And I'm like, well, I know I'm Native American and I think German.
And Jewish.
And he's like, dude, you're Jewish.
That's awesome.
I was like, interesting. So he asked me to come to the first night of Hanukkah.
Yeah.
To their temple.
8 crazy nights.
And I met the rabbi.
Yeah.
And we hit it off. And he's like, let me show you the last name Wenzel. Let me show you exactly your heritage, like what it is. And
that is awesome.
He broke it all down for me, and he showed like the surname and all of that or whatever it is. And sure as shit, German Jew.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no fucking way. That explains my whiny ass voice. No.
and your love for money. Our stories are. Oh, I'm sorry. What? Our stories aren't so similar or dissimilar, dude. Same. I was the keyboardist and sang at our church, and that was even more so. I can't tell them that I was just drunk in Newport the night before and that I had to Uber here, and then this facade was just built and built. When I was going through, I'd call it the thick of it, that I left the church, and I broke my parents' heart, and I told them, I was like, I'm done. I see that, and that was what was the hard part too, because part of me still believed there has to be a God, there has to be something more. And then I was so hurt and so broken that I was like, screw that. And it was mostly just at people. I didn't want to deal with the people. I didn't want to deal with the repercussions. I didn't want to deal with the escapism, right? And so I was like, I'm done. I'm over it. And then when I started dating my now wife, she, I would say too, was raised in just a non-religious household at all. Didn't believe, in anything. And she was like, we should go to church. I was like, what? No, I'm out. And she's like, we should go to church. And so then we started going again. And it was a different perspective this time, coming in as I'm broken and I'm good with it. And it's been a really cool journey. And
Are you going back to a non-denominational
church? So we're going back to a non-denominational church now.
Oh, wow.
And it's been a completely different experience this time for me than it was growing up. And it's been weird too, because I knew all the right answers. I have the head knowledge. I grew up knowing everything, but it didn't. I don't want to say it didn't take, but I didn't believe it. I didn't feel it. I didn't need it. I was too busy hiding my own problems.
Right.
And then now it's I'm good with it. I love where I'm at, and I love the process, and it's been good. It's been really good.
There's a difference in letting go of control and accepting things and not trying to overthink things. As you get sober, you have the clarity, you find fulfillment in sobriety and things like that. So for me, I really started to educate myself. And I'll tell you kind of where I'm at right now. And I have no problem disclosing this because I'm not a man of faith any longer. But I grew up and I got really really into C.S. Lewis, John Piper, Brian McLaren, like all like these like fantastic, like, at the time,
literary scholar.
Well,
of
yeah,
their,
C.S. Lewis would have been rather emergent back in
Right.
the day. Originally he wasn't even, I don't think he was Christian. And then, he really did a lot of studying in the story of Christ and things like that. And so I really found C.S. Lewis to be really interesting. Still to this day, I'm a massive fan of C.S. Lewis, but I also started to read Dawkins and DeGrasse Tyson,
Right.
and started to understand science and evolution and things like that. And I went straight atheist.
Yeah.
Like straight up, like you could not convince me that there was a God. Really turned my back on it entirely. It was a 180. Like I was like, no, yeah, that shit's stupid. Like, why? And as I grew up, and it was funny because I think a lot of people, when they don't have comfort in themselves, they live a life of like just, instant gratification, things like that. They want to feel good instantly. So they'll go to church or they'll do whatever. And that was like where my head was at, was like, it's like, oh, these are vacational Christians. They go to church and then they, flip someone off that cuts them off on the highway. Like
they go yell at the server at Sunday afternoon lunch.
Right. And it was like, and then I started noticing that like people like, and then I even got caught up into that. Right. So like as soon as I, became an atheist, I became extremely liberal.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, all about like, the Democratic Party and wokeism and all this shit. And it was like, I just found myself that it was like the other side of it.
You're worshiping a new.
It was right. Yeah. And at the end of the day, it had nothing to do with what I believed in. It had to do with the fact that I was fucking bored.
Yeah.
I was bored.
Yeah. Filling your time.
It was filling my time. It's why people watch sports.
Yeah.
It's like you're so caught up in shit that's out of your control, whether there's a God or not, or science and this and Trump and Hillary and what the fuck ever. It's like, let go of all of it.
Yeah.
Stop trying to prove that you're right, be polarizing, all of these things. Like, fuck that.
Yeah. And that's what was hard too. A lot of my original experience was, so even this, now that I've found some little social media platform, I met with one of my old pastors and I was talking to him about stuff, and he was like, no, like you don't have to, I don't want to call it broadcast, but you don't have to just claim like this is all happening because of God and this is all happening. But if people ask me like, hey, why are you always happy? Or hey, what's going on? Or hey, what do you do? I'll tell them what I'm doing and what's going on and who I am and share that with them. But I personally don't like force it down people's throats.
Yeah.
But
I like that.
I'm an open book.
Actually, I like that better. I like the Christian that doesn't have to tell you that he's a Christian or she's a Christian.
Right.
It's like there's something different about that person.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it's funny, actually. Nate, one of our other firefighters, he said to me the other day, he's like, I know you say you're not a man of faith. And I'm like, all right. He's like, but I'll tell you, I've talked to you a lot.
Yeah.
He's like, there's things that are, more like that you're striving to be Christ-like, which is what Christian means, than most Christians. And I was like, I really actually appreciate that, because that was what I always wanted, was like, not always wanted, but that's what I wanted people to think that but I just wanted to come off as different. Like, that, I do care about people, that I'm
well,
generous.
humans are relational.
Right.
We're designed to be relational. And that's what's kind of funny too, when you said like, well, I was an atheist. People are like, I don't believe in God. I was like, well, no, like you're, as an atheist, typically, right, you're saying like, I hate God, or I stand for everything against God. It's like, well, that's still a relationship.
Yeah.
You just hate it, but that's still a relationship.
Right. Yeah. Honestly, what Revelations 3:16 talks about, like, whether you're hot or cold, not lukewarm, I'll spit you from my mouth. And I was like, I took that right away. I'm like, I'm not going to be somebody that sits on the fence. I'm either in
I'm gonna
or
go all
out,
in.
right? Yeah.
And is that our addict personality? 100% in on whatever you do.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So as I got sober, one of the big, and I practice Alcoholics Anonymous. So one of the big things in AA is like, a God of your understanding.
Yeah.
And I fucking hated that. Like right away, I was like, this is stupid. Like, a God, I don't understand God. I don't have a God of my understanding, right? But then I started to open myself up a little bit more and more to it. And then I started to remember the things that I've read, the great things that are not necessarily the Bible, but what people have written about it, about the John Pipers.
Yeah.
the Rob Bells, the C.S. Lewis, and that stuff, that theology started to like come back in me.
Yeah.
To where that's what I strive to at least maybe not be Christian, but be Christ-like.
Right. Well, that's what is interesting because there's people that have done way more scholarly stewardship, studying all this stuff, and it's like, oh shoot, like if they're coming to some type of understanding and pointing in direction, like maybe I should do some more, and maybe there's something there.
Right.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude.
So that's where it's been for me. It's been just like
I like it, but there's also a really cool self-realization that you have of where you're at, and I think very few people in this world actually have a really good understanding of where they're at, and they can't put a name to it. They can't put an emotion to it. They can't say what they're feeling.
Why does it have to be labeled?
Oh, well, no, not that it has to be labeled, but just that people don't have an understanding of themselves. And so I think it's really just a cornerstone that you actually kind of understand who you are and where you're at and what your pursuit is.
I think so too. I try not to overthink anything anymore. I try not to even think.
Yeah, that is what got me into a lot of trouble, was trying to forecast and plan out and like dictate and narrate my life so that somebody would see it a certain way.
Yeah.
It's like, no, just be you.
Being authentic is the greatest thing, but it's hard for some people.
It was hard for me. It was super hard for me. I had so much fear, rejection, of not being liked, of whatever. And for some reason, I felt like I had to be a people pleaser. Who cares if people like me or don't like me now? I would rather be happy and be honest and be transparent. And if there's a few people like me, awesome. A few people don't like me, awesome. I'm going to be good with myself. But people pleasing is dangerous.
Yeah.
Got me into a lot of trouble.
Having a career in sales, like, salespeople are known for always wanting to be liked.
Right.
And I definitely fell into that too. But it was funny because when I finally found myself, right? And I always thought I knew who I was, but when I finally found myself and, became authentic, right? I didn't give a fuck what people thought about me anymore. And turns out when you don't give a fuck, people tend to gravitate towards you, like
right, because
or at least the right people.
Yeah, and it's not that you have to be polarizing, but the fact that people can actually see straight through, like, oh, that is who he is.
Right.
He's not just catering to anybody. Like, you pick a stance, and those people are going to be 100% in.
Yeah.
I like it.
Me too. So you're not coming to our event?
I'm pretty sad. So I brought it up, but my wife, we dated and we went to Yosemite as our first like trip together.
Oh.
And then we went back to Yosemite and I proposed there. And then last year we got married in Yosemite. So we go to Yosemite every year. And Justin just so happened to plan JWX's big old event.
Well, as your relationship counselor right now.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yep.
I'm listening.
This is free advice. Sometimes new experiences on other days are very beneficial. You got to keep it. You got to keep it alive.
This is true.
You got to keep it alive.
So I should drive back from Yosemite.
Well, that might be an
and then
interesting.
drive back.
Yeah, that might be an interesting thing. Is just to like pick up and go.
Yeah.
You could fly.
And then she'd be like, "Well, where the hell did he go?" Well, I went to Huntington Beach for the JWX event, and then she'd be like, "Oh," but then it gives her a chance to miss you.
Yeah. And then
Right.
drive right back.
There's something to this. I think we're getting there.
Hey, babe, I'm going to leave you with all 4 kids.
Well, that's another thing too. So this is called testing.
Some things I don't know that I want to test.
Okay.
I've never put my head under a car tire.
I'm closing up.
I'm
I'm closing up my counseling shop. It's
But
done.
I'm
We're
fairly certain
We're working
that's a
it.
test I don't need to run.
okay. All right. Should we get her on the phone?
We could. She would hate me.
Would she? Put her right on the spot.
If I put her on the phone, yeah.
Okay.
She is incredible. She does not like social. She even with this, she was like, "Do you want to practice?" And I was like, "Practice what?"
What is there to practice?
And she's like, "Do you want me to ask you questions?" And I was like, "No, I'm nervous, but like, I'm just gonna talk." And she's like, "Oh, I would not do well at that." I was like, "Well, I don't know if I'm going to either."
Bro.
It's been great.
The best thing about podcasting and the Wolves Only podcast is like we have no fucking clue what we're gonna say.
Yeah.
It was funny because we first started off, we're like, should we have like a questionnaire? And And I was like, well, let me think about all the times that like I went on podcasts that handed me a questionnaire.
Yeah.
And it was like, I just sent it back to them blank. It's like, I don't even know how to answer the questionnaire if you give me time. Like, just ask me on the spot and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
And that's how I wanted to do this. Just like, whatever, fuck it. Run it for an hour. If it goes for 2 hours, even better.
Yeah.
And so far we've had a good response.
So tell me your journey of how you popped into social media.
Okay. Actually, I've been like, it's funny. Like before I even started online coaching, I had a platform on Instagram. But it was like, I was a party boy, but I had went through like a massive body transformation.
Yeah.
So have you ever seen my before pictures?
No.
Oh my God.
Well, actually, so when I Googled your name, it pulled up like a SoundCloud, and you've got like a profile picture that is terrible. You should probably change it. But it was definitely, yeah, because you had hair, and I was like, that's Justin.
On SoundCloud.
No, I don't know. It was some.
It might have been SoundCloud.
It might have been.
I was in a number of bands. So yeah, I used to be like a big fat bastard, drunk, fat, just a mess.
Yeah.
You don't need to pull it up, Steve.
Oh, he's doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's doing it.
Okay.
It's happening.
He knows exactly what filter it is.
I was a fat mess, and I lost over 100 pounds, man, and got jacked. Now, all along, I was abusing cocaine and other drugs and drinking myself to death. And using every fucking steroid and all the shit. But either way, I built like, at that time, I was manager at a big, huge auto group, working a ton, but managing to stay in really good shape.
Yeah. Drugs.
Well, I also had the nutrition and training down too, but it was really cool. So I had a body transformation. I kind of put that shit out there on Instagram, and I built a big following. I put my meal preps out there and stuff like that. This is way before online coaching was like a big thing. I just was doing it. Like whatever, people would ask me for advice and things like that. And then I went through a divorce and shut my social media down. So at that time I had like just shy of 5,000 followers.
Yeah.
So not a huge following, not anything like I have today, but it was like enough to where when a couple of years went by after my divorce and another botched relationship, I opened up my Instagram again, and it was like right away, like it picked up right where I left off.
That's cool.
So it had like, 4,500 followers. And then I started with a different program to learn how to online coach, and that ended up being a sham. But I started putting out, at that time, I thought it was good content. It was fucking garbage, but I put out a lot of content and started building a follower and then I had like this one video that just slammed, and it kind of put me on the map. And that's where like, and then my clientele started growing, and certain things started happening. I got cast in 2 movies. Well, one at the time it was just one movie that hasn't come out yet. But
Adult films are not movies.
I mean, I put on a performance. Let's just. But anyways, yeah, there was just like some cool shit that happened, and it just started to work out, and it was just me being myself. And
well, I think that's what's so cool with social media is like the egalitarian nature of it. It's like anybody can do anything, and I understand like in life, every single famous person has come from just being a normal person. But a lot of it is who you know, and you got to find the right moment, right time. Like that spark has to land. And social media, it's like you put out good content, you keep being consistent, and people will see it.
Right.
Like it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's been my experience.
It always makes me, when people come to me and they're like, I'm not getting any traction. I'm like, dog, you posted like twice this week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that ain't gonna like what like.
Well, and it goes back to what we were talking earlier. Like people are relational. They want to see somebody repeatedly. Like they want to see, even if you're not I've put out basically like that I'm just a normal dad, and people love it because they are a normal dad too, and they just want to have somebody in their life who is a normal dad that understands.
Right.
So it's been like just a really cool world to kind of open up and uncover.
Yeah, but you're not a normal dad.
Well, I feel like I am.
Well, you're disciplined for one. Normal dads aren't disciplined.
That's true. That's true. Well, we're going to make this the new norm. That's the goal.
Well,
we're we're
mission.
building an army.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the mission.
Yeah.
But the fact is there's a lot of dads. There's a lot of normal dads. There's not a lot of father figures.
That's also true. But it's interesting because I don't know where that changed because, at least in my experience, my dad, every single morning, 5 a.m., was in the living room doing push-ups, doing jumping jacks, doing his workout routine. And then he was off studying before work. And, like, my grandpa did that. And, like, most people I talked to, like, oh, yeah, my dad was always doing this and physically fit. And, you know, they had the presidential fitness test. And then now our age group of people is not the norm. Like people, and I don't know where that change happened or why that change happened, but this laziness has become like an infectious just excuse. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, no, I'm just busy at work. Well, so wake up earlier.
Right. As if people in the
I have
70s,
kids.
80s weren't busy at work too. Or
Yeah.
Kids.
Yeah.
No, it is. You know, I think a big difference nowadays is that there's a name for everything. There's a diagnosis for everything.
That's also true.
And back then it was like you were either just retarded or, or you know, or gay. You know? No, but really, like it was like, you know, you didn't have all these things like, oh, I suffer from this, I suffer. And I do believe that this stuff exists,
but it doesn't have to be an excuse.
Right. People lean on their diagnosis as like the biggest excuse there is.
Right.
And it doesn't give them it really instills a lot of fear, a lot of doubt, and a lot of just self disbelief. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
And then you also have, so when you have all of that, now the world has gotten incredibly smaller, right? With social media, with all of the outlets and ways that we can communicate and things like that. So when the world is so small and you have that much negativity poured into an area where negativity can spread, you know, just as fast as anything else, you run into a big population of people that are living in that fear and that doubt and that self-loathing and that angst.
Yeah, and the negativity is what's interesting to me, though, because it shows you how dissatisfied people are with themselves. And I have run into probably, I don't have a stat, I'm going to say 80% of like the actual messages and comments are negative. Somebody saying something, somebody doing something, and it's like, and I don't take it personally because it's like, oh, that's actually really curious because it really just shows that 80% of the world or whatever, I don't have the number, they're just unhappy with themselves. They're projecting something else. They're dissatisfied with where they're at, and so they go online and take it out on somebody else.
Oh yeah.
Well,
it's never anybody that's doing anything good.
Right. Yeah, I know. There's a quote that I usually respond back with, and I'm going to butcher it, but it's like, anybody doing more than you will never criticize you.
No.
And so it's like, well,
we're too busy.
Yeah. Yeah. What
do you think? Even if I disagree with something, I see so much bullshit on social media, and it's like I don't even think. Like, yeah, I think about it. I'm like, yeah, that sucked. But I'm not gonna like go in and fucking ruin the dude's day. Like that's not like
I don't have the time to comment. I don't. And
No.
what purpose does it serve?
Well, yeah, and the last thing that I want to do is hurt somebody's feelings or make somebody feel like lower than. I mean, even when people talk shit to me, like it's I don't fire back with a negative. Like I can make someone feel very stupid very easily.
Right.
Which I do that, but
there's still a difference though, because you could also just give them a positive and they still
that's
take
usually
it.
how it is.
Yeah.
Usually, like, you know, it'll be like, you know, man, you're so articulate. Please tell me more. Like whatever. You should write a book.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just like kind of like a sarcastic remark. You know what I mean? In the DMs, a lot of times I'll just be like, hey, what's bothering you?
Yeah. I mean, they have not responded, but that's a lot of the times that I've been responding with, like,
bro, I have
hey, are you okay?
Dude, I've been out like with Dane and he's been next to me and I've been like, well, check this cat out. A day later, they're on my program.
Yeah.
We ran a course in JWX that was how to turn your haters into paid clients.
Yeah, I believe it. And it almost is. It's like when you're a kid and you're testing the boundaries, right? Like you want to just like push it a little bit. Like my parents said, don't do this, and then you do it, and like, well, am I actually going to get in trouble? And then you do it, and you're like, oh, okay, like I won't do that again. But then you also respect them.
Yeah.
And so I think they do. They push the boundaries a little bit, and they want to test you and see if you're actually made of what you're saying, and then they respond.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Steve, let's take a quick break.
Yes, sir.
It's a great cigar.
These are good. These are good on the golf course. I've learned that it's funny because I was like, oh, Cuban. And then I sat with Brian. He's like, well, Cubans are great. Obviously, it's one of the best cigars out there. He's like, but you don't limit yourself to just Cuban cigars. He's like, first of all, especially on the golf course, they're brittle. Cuban cigar, the Cuban leaf is like
really
brittle. So, I'm the guy that'll like throw it on the grass for a second.
Yeah.
Normally nowadays I'm good at keeping the smoke out of my eyes, but so I'll keep it in my mouth. But they're just they start to break and stuff. Where like the leaf on like a Dominican or on a Honduran, Connecticut, they're stronger.
I had no clue.
Yeah. And all Cubans taste the same.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Zero difference.
I mean, subtle differences. But
the more you know.
Yes.
Tune in next week.
Yeah, I learned a lot with Brian on the show. He's the cigar sommelier of Las Vegas.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he knows his shit.
That's I would assume a very prestigious title if you are truly the guy.
Yeah, he's the guy.
Yeah.
Every time I see him, he's got like just a case of like all sorts of really cool shit.
That's awesome.
So I want to be like that. Every time I see him, I'm like, I want to be like that. I want to have. That's why I got. Like,
See,
cool.
that's the beauty of ADHD, is we find a project, and we're all in.
Yeah.
100%. I have so many random things halfway done with all the perfect tools. I just got over. I found a new project. So
are you accusing me of having ADHD?
No, I would never do such a thing.
Well, you said that in an inclusive manner.
Yeah, I'm accusing you.
I do.
Yeah, no, I know you do. Yeah, duh.
I do have ADHD.
Yeah, so do I. Diagnosed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great though.
Did they put you on all the stuff, the Ritalin?
No, so I've always been hyper, but I can. Well, for other things, sometimes I can focus. But in school, I always did super good. Like if I liked something, I was tracking it, and so. I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I have ADHD. And she's like, No, you don't. Yeah, well, the doctor told me I do. So, but no, I haven't done any Ritalin. I'm curious though.
I'll stay away.
Yeah,
that shit's the devil. All of those,
not good.
Yeah. I mean, believe me.
No, I'm all natty.
I was on the Vyvanse, the Adderall, all of it, and it just makes you weird.
So I don't like medication in general. When I was depressed, they put me on some whatever antidepressant stuff, and that was like a weird. Okay, I didn't feel sad anymore, but I also don't feel happy. Like you're just stuck in this. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I didn't like it at all. But it was good. It helped me start therapy, and then opened up a lot more stuff. And it was like, okay, now I have some tools, and I don't want this stuff anymore.
Yeah, I have a hard time with therapy. I really do. I've been in it. I've done it a lot.
Talk to me about it.
All right.
How do you feel about that? See what I did there?
Yeah, I see what you did there.
Why? Why do you not like therapy? This is therapy. This is your therapy.
This is my therapy. I've had one good therapist in my life, Mark Wallstrom. He was great. He really gave me like some different styles of meditation, coping mechanisms, things like that. But a lot of times I just don't feel like they're qualified.
Yeah, so I could see that. I got lucky because I could absolutely understand if I did not have somebody I clicked with or felt safe with or whatever, I'd be like, get out of here. But it for sure helped save my life.
For sure. Yeah. The other thing though too is like all of my problems were substance related.
Right. So you close that out and
right. And most of my therapists, including Mark, they were not addicts or alcoholics. So I had a hard time and looking back at it, I don't blame myself because how do I take someone serious that hasn't lived what I'm living?
Right. You do not understand.
Right. And part of the program that I work is that we don't offer advice unless we've lived through it.
Right.
Right. So I just if you haven't been there, then how the fuck can you navigate me through it?
Yeah.
Because you learned some shit in a book,
right.
And you were taught something in school. You're not feeling what I feel.
Yeah.
You haven't felt what I feel. So that was really tough for me. Learning certain coping mechanisms was great, and I think the point of therapy for me was to pull myself out of the room or the dark space that I was in and actually
Yeah.
physically go somewhere, you know, and actually sit with a person and talk.
Yeah. But see, so that I think a lot of people don't have a place to talk, don't have an outlet, don't have somebody to listen or be like a mentor under, right? And so I think you've done an excellent job at creating a life to where you have mentors, you have close people that you can go up to, you have a podcast where you can just open up and talk. And I think that is literally therapy, right?
Well, that's just it. Is I think mentorship is far more
valuable
yeah. than therapy.
Right.
Like, show me what to do. More importantly, show me what not to do.
Yeah. Let me learn from your past mistakes and grow together in this.
Right.
Yep.
So yeah, I think since having mentors and acknowledging mentorship, that's allowed me to grow way more than I could do sitting in a room. You know?
Yeah. I'll agree on that. I think it's a good open door to get people maybe to a place where they can talk or open up about something or pull something they didn't even know was what the root of it was.
That's true.
And then
I also will say though, to therapy's defense, I think every time that I would go in prior to getting sober, I was just lying to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what's
Yeah.
the point? Like, what's the point of even going if you're just going to lie? But I was lying to myself, you know?
And see, that's where I was not at. I had been lying to myself and lying to everybody else my whole life. And so then once I got to therapy, I was like, here it is, bro. Take it or leave it. And it was nice. Yeah.
I'm afraid that the therapist would have fired me after hearing all the bullshit. And it's like,
You just ask him, like, who's your therapist? And then you try to get to the boss therapist.
the final boss.
Yeah.
Interesting. You listen to hardcore?
Way too much. In fact, I was listening to Devil Wears Prada on the way here.
Oh, you're in the Christian hardcore.
So I'm all over. So
I love Devil Wears Prada.
add it to my list of ADHD qualifications. I wanted to be a photographer when I was growing up. So I went to photo school. I used to shoot bands. I did Memphis Mayfire, The Chariot, Devil Wears Prada, O Sleeper, all sorts of bands. And so I originally just started doing, I was like, oh, this is exciting to shoot photography because the lights are always changing. Everything's crazy. And then I was like, oh, I love this music. So that's kind of how I fell into it. You did not grow up in Southern California, but there's a little place called Chain Reaction.
Yeah.
Oh, he's been there.
I've been there.
Oh, yeah. That was the jam. In high school, that was the place to be.
How old are you?
I'm 34.
You're a little bit before me, or yeah.
Well, since you
After
brought
me.
it up, let's
After
talk
me.
about Josh Goggin.
Yeah. So I've only met him once, but
He's cool.
he's cool.
He's cool.
Super cool, dude. It's Stevis. That was the guitarist.
Taco.
Crazy.
What do they call him?
Is that the one with his side project band too?
Oh, he's had a bunch of
68?
stuff.
68,
Yeah.
yeah.
So good.
They're good. And
So
they're just a
good.
two-piece, right? Or
Yeah.
3?
The drummer, right?
I think there was 3.
But Bless the Martyr, Kiss the Child was how I was introduced to hardcore.
Oh, really?
Was Norma Jean.
Yeah.
And
That was a complete debut album, what changed the whole band.
So
yeah,
I
because
didn't-
it was funny because I saw Ludacris
Yeah.
and then it was like I learned who Ludacris was and I was like, I like them, they're cool. But then that changed fast. It was Ludacris, then it was Norma Jean. Mm-hmm. And
But he's only there for one album.
do you know the Chariot album? Before there was Atlanta, there was Douglasville. That was their first
Yeah.
album.
Yeah.
Do you know the point of that album title?
No.
Do you know the point of that album title?
You've told me before, I kind of forgot.
So before there was, think about it. Before there was Atlanta, there was Douglasville. Okay. Before there was Ludacris, there was Ludacris. Before Ludacris, the rapper.
Referring to the rapper.
That's awesome.
Ludacris is from Atlanta.
Yeah. There was Douglasville. And
Yep.
that's where he's from.
That's where they're from.
That's
Douglasville,
awesome.
Georgia.
That is awesome.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. No, I had no idea.
I put that together in my head. I was like, that's what it's got. I mean, maybe that's not what it means, but I'm pretty sure that's what it
Oh,
means.
so you just told me something you're not sure
So
on.
wait, how often were you at Chain Reaction back in those? Every weekend?
Oh, close. Yeah.
So we probably run around the same people we know.
We probably did.
We probably know Corey, Iman, and all the gun guys, and they're gun guys now.
Yeah.
You probably know. Okay, never mind. We're good. Same homies.
We're basically family.
Have you listened to the new Knock Loose?
No.
Ooh. Have you listened to it, Steve?
Yeah, actually, I saw a stat today that they're charting on Spotify higher than Taylor Swift right now. It's knocked loose.
Get the fuck out of here.
It was some random stuff. I'm like, what?
I mean, they really
on the
they've really
viral
blown
on their
up.
viral chart, whatever it is. Knocked loose is higher than in Taylor Swift at the moment.
Rightfully so. I know way more Knock Loose songs than I do Taylor Swift
But
songs.
see, what I love about the hardcore scene, if you will, is a lot of those guys, Lorna Shore, they say some of the most deep, heart-hitting lyrics. It's like you listen to mainstream music, and it's just, oh, my boyfriend broke up with me, and whatever. They're like hitting on real life stuff that is written in a poetic form to where it's not only beautiful to like read in like a long narrative format, it's also like, oh shoot, like that hits home. Like I understand that.
Where do you? Okay, so we were watching this the other day. What do you feel on like we were watching Falling Reverse the other day, Justin? We were here.
Yeah, Ronnie.
Yeah.
What do you feel about that? Because it's kind of a collab of like a lot of different things together.
So it's a collab. I think he's kind of brilliant though, because he's obviously hitting mainstream stuff and where he's doing these kind of like artistic narrative videos that are just out there. And he's also got a crazy life story and past that, you know, he kind of hits that like
Yeah. He's
bad
sober
boy
now?
stuff. I don't know. Is he?
He talks a lot about
I
it.
think so. Yeah.
I don't know.
Probably because he has to be a little bit more. But yeah, I think, yeah, he's 100%. Actually, he is. He is.
Yeah, I mean,
He protests it to be, yes.
interesting. Yeah, because you watch, you know, it's so, I love seeing guys when they get sober, watching their careers explode.
Yeah.
And his career is exploding.
Well, yeah.
And
Like,
his videos are the best videos on.
and that's what I never understood too. Like a lot of these or whatever in the rap scene too. Like you want to do drugs and get popped and go to jail. It's like, you're going to, like, for what?
Right.
Okay,
I say it all
Tekashi,
the
your
time.
career's over.
I say it all the time. Just be rich.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
you
be,
can
like-
literally be sober and clean and not break the law and crush it.
Right.
You do not
So
need the
just
street cred.
Yeah, I don't understand it. It's
Yeah.
like they're more addicted to the self-sabotage than they are the success. It's like, get over that shit.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever. I mean, it's, you know, I guess you're a product of your environment.
That's also true. And when you're surrounded by it, like if you're touring and you are just immersed, you like haven't experienced that. So I can't throw stones at it, but it does not make sense to just get loaded and go to jail.
This summer has already, and by the way, last summer the Lorna Shore album came out, and that was the best metal album of the year.
It's incredible.
But you know, so far we've had a new Comeback Kid EP, we've had a new Ghost Inside album, we've had the new Knock Loose. I mean, this is a great summer.
Yeah, and Ghost, like talk about a story, dude.
Oh fuck,
Oh my gosh.
it's insane. We were at the Ghost Inside show with one of my good friends. He's a fucking sick drummer. He's also a client of mine, Dave. But he was watching them, and he's like watching their drummer, and he's like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, it's like it's a trigger or something. He's like, that just doesn't make sense. I'm like, it's true. Then he sat there, and we were side stage for the show, and he was like, no, I get it now. I get it. And
Yeah.
like, you know, it's like this, it's growing on me.
Yeah.
You know. And
That's awesome.
that is a crazy story. You know, it could have been a lot worse. You know, if you think about like bands like Bayside, they lost their drummer. You know,
Yeah.
you know, it's wild when these bands have bus issues. You know,
And it happens all the time. Well, I don't want to say all the time, but like it's happened to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
Rollovers.
what? Yeah.
yeah. Well, you know, they wanted to take 15 passenger vans out of touring for the longest time, and I think they did. I actually think Ford stopped making the 15 passenger
The eco vans, yeah.
the eco line.
With the U-Haul behind you.
Yeah, because it was an issue because that like the
Disbursement,
displacement
yeah.
was rough, and when it would get squirrely, it would just
You can't
flip.
recover.
Well, and then you add on, right, that you're doing these like back to back shows, and you're
Yeah.
touring the whole, and you're just exhausted and wiped out. And,
Right.
And a lot, I don't want to say a lot, but a handful of those metalcore type bands, they're not making bank. Like they're doing most of the stuff themselves. They're loading their gear. They're moving their stuff. They're like, they don't have this giant production crew with them.
Well, a lot of them are doing A-class, like just motorhomes
Yeah.
with a tow behind because
Yeah.
they're actually made for the road and you can live in it. And it's
Yeah.
actually more functional than a charter bus and all that stuff. And you probably can own it by the end of the tour.
Yeah,
I mean,
Lorna Shore was in a motorhome.
Yeah, I saw Maylene and Sons of Disaster a couple of weeks ago. Oh, phenomenal.
Yeah.
And they had one of those. And with just a normal,
awesome.
Wells Cargo behind you or
And
it was.
like, it's way nicer.
Oh, yeah.
Way
Way
yeah,
nicer.
than a
Yeah, you
van.
show up and you're rested.
And the
and-
day you can go to a campsite and just hook up and there's your hotel. You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a Class C motorhome. It was a piece of shit. We couldn't drive it over 55 miles an hour.
We can't anyways.
Yeah, had to be like St. Louis, and then they'd get all the way.
Is that
to
where you
like,
bought the moped?
No. So what was funny is we had the generator on the back, and then the moped on like a stand. You know, like, and we were in the desert one night. We left the generator. We would always take the moped off, but for some reason, we're probably drunk. We left it on, and we melted the whole entire side of the moped. And,
Whoops.
Ended up leaving it in Utah. Still there probably to this day.
So I'm kind of like a nerd in a lot of aspects and love to get into like, I don't know, have an understanding of everything. And there's this YouTube lady, I don't know what she's called, and she's like a trained opera singer. And she listens to other songs and then she'll like dissect them. And she did this whole thing, like an hour and a half video on Lorna Shore and Pain Remains. And I watched an hour and a half of her just dissecting and going through like 10-second clips of the songs the whole time. And I was like,
they do have like Spirit Box too and stuff like that. Because and Ginger and all those different ones that kind of a sing-songy before actual operatic good singing and then into like, growling basically.
Yeah.
Well, you know who Melissa Cross is, right?
That sounds very familiar.
She helps out everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's like the
Yeah.
vocal coach for,
Yep.
like,
I've seen her.
all the-
Yes.
Yeah, I've done a session with her before.
No way.
Yeah. She's out of New York, out of Brooklyn.
That's awesome.
Yeah, really cool. TJ from Still Remains, the guys in Still Remains are very close friends of mine. They're from my hometown. He had polyps and had to go see her for like the longest time.
That's what's fascinating to me is the ability of the human vocal cords to like, I can't do any of that. That just blows my, and to do it in a way that you're not damaging it.
Right. Yeah. Well, especially
Insane.
like Will Ramos is
Insane.
yeah. I mean,
They stuck a camera down his throat.
did they?
Yeah. That chick on YouTube, they put a camera down his throat and they're just watching his voice box do all sorts of stuff. And they're like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
a
it's
nerd.
effortless.
Well, it's like a muscle, right? You got to condition it.
Yeah, I guess. I think it's also just some talent, like just
There gotta be
naturally,
something,
like that's your gift.
some people just don't get it. Most people don't get it.
I love my parents, but when I was doing some of this photography stuff, I'd like, hey, listen to this band. And they're like, what? No. Yeah. But I'm like, it's incredible. Like, you don't understand.
Oh yeah, I never got support from my parents when I was in, heavy, like a hardcore band.
Yeah. They supported me. They loved me. They just did not understand the music. They're like,
Well, they probably like if you you can't. Okay, they're not going to understand like Whitechapel, and they're not going to understand like Obliteration Core. Basically, like, oh, here, honey, here's cow decapitation.
Right.
But maybe they'll understand like Sleeping Giant a little more.
Yeah.
Or like a little more like.
When I played them
positivity.
some songs that were done like acoustic, and then they're like, oh, this is great. And
Why
it's
can't
like
they do this all the time?
These lyrics are incredible. And I was like, yeah, that's what they were singing.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't understand.
I think it was always too, like even like the Christian hardcore bands, like Norma Jean, like their lyrics were so far over my parents' head. Like it was like, no, this is like really positive message, or this is like a really, it's very Christian derived.
Yeah.
But like they just don't get the metaphors and the.
So growing up in Orange County, there's this band, I'm sure you've heard of it, Thrice.
Of course.
And
Oh my gosh, he loves
Probably
Thrice.
my favorite band.
okay, so
Oh, yeah.
so Dustin's a little bit older than me, but he was like a youth leader at some of the local churches.
I
and
figured
so
he was Christian.
He was. I forgot where it was. Costa Mesa somewhere.
I-
He's,
Yeah,
he's,
so
he's a
I
Costa
didn't know
Mesa
that.
guy.
he was at
Sure.
Mariners,
Mariners,
and
yeah.
he was one of the youth leaders. So a bunch of my friends were like, oh yeah, he's like my youth leader. And then it was like the cool church. I started going to Rock Harbor, and and then at nighttime, I'm like, oh, Dustin, hey Dustin, like he's sitting right next to me.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
it's like, what? Like this guy that I've paid to go see your concerts, and he's just this normal down to earth dude, like this little old white beat up pickup truck, and he'd be like, hey, and you just
It's so common in Orange County.
it was so rad.
Or if you hang out Guitar Center long enough.
Yeah.
The Artist in the Ambulance
Oh,
is the
dude.
greatest post-hardcore album
I agree.
ever.
I agree.
Ever.
But a ton of Thrice songs. So they branded themselves as a secular band. I want to say like 9 out of 10 of their songs are biblically based. Like you
I
can
bet.
straight up go like, oh my gosh, this is a song just on a verse.
Well,
there-
Silhouette is for sure.
There's
I mean,
always
yeah,
that
I mean,
line in the sand with
Yeah.
these bands. Like I have to make a distinction with these bands with my wife. Like, no, they're not a Christian band. They're Christians in a band.
Yeah.
That's a different
Well,
thing.
and so that's
Right.
kind of what I brought up earlier. Like you can be completely transparent and authentic in who you are. And then those that actually care and get to know you are going to be like, oh, there's something different.
Right. But yeah, you
Without-
can also, there's also a lot of like even like Deftones has a lot of spiritual like
yeah, I mean,
connotations and
Yeah.
I can,
and
yeah. I love Gino.
I love Deftones.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, one of the coolest tours I saw, and I saw a couple stops on it, was Deftones Thursday and Thrice.
Deftones just hits. Like, you can be in any mood.
Oh yeah,
And they can fill that void.
yeah,
Like, oh yeah, this is good.
yep. That was a great tour. Those three bands like just brought it.
Yeah.
You know Jake used to be in a band, right?
No.
You don't know this?
Oh, actually, I have heard him talk about it, but I don't know what the band was.
Mantis.
Mantis?
Yeah,
Look them up.
All
They're
right.
on they were on Ozfest tour
No way.
in 2004,
they were on the show.
5, 6. Yeah, they're on the show.
On the show.
You can look up Battle for Ozfest. And
Mantis.
and he's on it.
All right, I'm going to look it up.
He's fat.
It's Fat Jake.
Hey, we all started somewhere.
It's true.
Yeah, but he's really fat.
He'll be upset we're having this conversation. He's on the podcast. He'll be upset.
He's not even here to defend himself, dude.
He's actually in town. He actually went to Rise Above with Brandon. And I said, hey, you're not going to stop by the podcast studio?
Unreal.
Oh, we want to fight traffic.
That ain't
Whatever,
love.
dude.
I'm going right back to his house after this.
I know. Give him crap.
Oh, I will. So, you're coaching now, or you actually? I heard something different. I heard that you wanted to go community style.
Yeah, I do. So my roadmap, if you will, how I had gotten healthy was so much more than just physical fitness, right? It's everything that we've been talking about: mental health, sobriety, yada yada. So I'm kind of torn. I love that I've been getting to help people. I know that it's not just, it's not, part of me wants to, I want to help you fully, and I want to transform your entire life and not just get you fit and get you in shape and show you how to eat right. So I would love to do that. I don't know really how to do it yet because there's a lot of red tape, and it's been really cool that this internet. I got people messaging me every day from, I'm in Norway, I'm in Belarus, I'm in what? Well, so how do you do that though? Like, there's so many legalities just from state to state of like offering you mental health and offering you whatever. So I don't really know how to do it, but I love the idea. I love being able to hit people in all areas of their life, more of a holistic transformation where it's like, hey, this is literally gonna change you because you're starting at the root.
Community building is the best part about this.
Yeah.
When once you have like just a few guys that are just sold,
Yeah.
just bought into you and the way you lead, it snowballs.
Yeah.
It started with, I had a big clientele, and that was great, and it was very much me being a leader in that sense. But then when I started to bring up other leaders, it started with Scotty.
Yeah.
And Scotty and I would just back and forth all the time. He believed in me, I believed in him, and then it was more people started coming.
Yeah.
And now it is what it is today.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that idea.
It's cool. No, and definitely you're in the right place to learn how to do it. I think we're one of the best at creating like solid ecosystems.
Yeah. No, and
I don't know another ecosystem like ours.
Well, I was gonna say in a healthy ecosystem where you have people that are wanting to do it for the right reasons.
Right.
And not just a snake oil. And just jump and just pay us. It's all good. No, it's like, no, what can we actually do?
It starts from the top, right?
Right.
My intention has always been
and
up.
that's the same in the fire service too, right? Like leader's intent. Like when I have a good captain, dude, I'll work way more for way less because I know that he's doing the right thing, and you want to work with them, right? You want to have a good rapport. You want to do more, or any industry, not just fire service. I'm sure you've had a ton of jobs where you have a terrible boss and you're like, screw this. Like, I'm not going to work hard. I am not going to give it my all. They could pay me more money, and like, screw this guy.
Right.
Versus you have something else where you're like, I'll work for free. I just want to help. I want to do something because you want to be part of it, because you respect them and you want to have that rapport with them.
Yeah. Leadership, a good leader makes their followers feel important.
Yeah.
And if you can pull that off, if you know how to listen, show up, and correct when it's necessary, critique when it's necessary, but ultimately make that person feel very important, that's what they strive for. That's what people strive for. I was talking to JT about this earlier today, as a matter of fact, and he was like, some people need or some people are just desperate to feel a part of something and feel important. And he goes, to be honest, I don't give a fuck. And I said, that's not true.
Yeah.
And he goes, explain. And I said, it's not true because you are a valuable person. You are sought after. You always show up. That's what you know. That's what you do. So the reason you can say I don't give a fuck is because you already have it. You already have the feeling of importance. You've positioned yourself to put yourself as a valuable person. So when you say I don't give a fuck if if somebody acknowledges me, that's not true. If you had an absence of that, you would give a fuck.
Yeah, you would fill the void.
And he was like, damn, you're right.
Yeah.
So
No, I think it's a defense too. Like, right, we always want to be like, and not saying JT at all, but just in general, like, no, I don't need that. No, I'm tough. No, I'm okay. No, and it's like, no, we all crave.
it feels really good when somebody acknowledges you and sees the value in you.
Yeah.
And I don't care how hard you think you are, you have a desire for it.
If you're a kid, or my kid, when they do something right, it is the world to them when I give them a nut. Dude, that was awesome. Good job, buddy. Like, you hit that ball. He plays baseball. You nailed it, dude. Good job. And that means the world to him, right? And it's like, that doesn't stop. Even as an adult.
No.
We still crave, in a good way or a bad way, we still crave that recognition. Crave to be seen. Crave to be valued.
It's narcissism, actually.
Well,
it is. That is our instilled. That's a positive narcissistic trait.
Okay.
We have that since when we learn how to tie our shoes, and when it's like, Daddy, come look at me do this, right? That's narcissism.
Yeah.
We're born narcissists. We're narcissistic from the day we walk out of our moms, like you said earlier, right? We are narcissists. Every single person is.
Yeah.
But there's unhealthy narcissism.
I was going to say, that was part of my therapy, was going through a previous unhealthy narcissistic relationship.
Yeah. And that feeling for importance, recognition, love, all of that is a narcissistic thing.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of like what we do to get it. And when you have that absence of it, that's when it starts to become unhealthy.
Right.
Right? You have a hard time maintaining healthy relationships because you were never shown that healthy relationship.
Yeah. If you have to manipulate to get that value, then something's wrong.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's where it really comes from. When you have parents who recognize you and reward you, whatever it is, for the things that you care about. We talked about this with Elliot the other day, and he was like, you're like his parents, and I felt this because it's true. It's like when I would be complimented or acknowledged for the things that my parents thought were important, that it felt okay. But then when I wouldn't be for the things that I thought were important, there's something missing now.
Yeah.
And that's when you really start to act out, or when you start to, and that goes into adult life.
Yeah. No, it does not change. And that's probably a lot of the void that we all try to fill with a substance, right? You're trying to chase
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whatever, whether it's a substance, whether it's any sort of
true.
instant gratification, that's what we do. That, we want to feel a type of way right away.
Yeah.
And that is a hard thing to break.
It's really hard. And I think that's what's hard with, I don't want to call it our line of work, but with physical fitness and health, because it's not this instant gratification. No. It takes time. It is repeated actions that accumulate over time, but it takes time. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, even just in the DMs, right? Well, but when am I going to see? When do I weighed myself 14 times today. That's not how it works. That's not. It's repeated actions over time and takes time.
Yeah. You would think people would get it by now, but they don't.
No. We live in an instant gratification world.
Yeah.
You want to know, like, we don't even have to memorize anything. You want to know a fact, and we'll just look it up in 2 seconds.
I just got this lighter. There's a piece of shit.
But it weighs like 14 pounds, so it feels nice.
It does feel nice. But look at that.
Should weigh it down, do a couple pumps in there before you do it,
Look at how piece of shit this is. My other one's so much nicer.
You might be out of butane.
I just spilled it. Interesting. What a piece of shit.
I'm going to mark this.
Try now. If you put your thumbnail in it and turn it a little bit, it works better.
You're becoming an expert.
At that lighter. What else?
Do you have kiddos?
I have a 12-year-old son.
12.
Yep. His name's Max.
It's awesome.
He's great. Brilliant kid.
I didn't understand or have an appreciation for my parents until I became a parent. It seems, I don't want to say seems easy, but as a kid, I didn't think about it at all. They're just parents. And now I like second guess myself on everything I do.
Well, yeah,
not second guess, but like, oh, I could have done better. Oh, I should have used this opportunity to say, oh, I could have done, oh, did I, and just, It's always that next question of,
you don't appreciate a boss until you become a boss. You don't appreciate an owner of a business when you walk into the business until you own your own business. Right?
And to that same extent, though, you can never fully prepare somebody until you're in that role.
Right.
So it's like there's not just a handbook to follow, but yeah, parenting has been exciting and challenging.
It's an experience.
Yeah.
That's one area of my life that I'm open about this, that I wish I was better with. My son lives in Michigan.
Yeah.
Half of his life I was an addict. So I've missed out on a lot.
Yeah. Well, different, but I've also had a lot of those same thoughts of, with divorce, I'm not in their life 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And yet now I'm at the realization of, even when I was only given 20%. Like I was not there. I was not being a good dad. I was depressed and it was not a good relationship. So now, even with the limited time I have, I'm 100%. I'm that much more intentional with every moment. Last week or 2 weeks ago, he was like, "Dad, can we go fishing?" I was like, what? Like, we live in Southern California. There's not really like just, you can't just go down to the creek. I found this little spot in Anaheim and picked him up from school and dropped his sister off with my wife. And for a couple hours, we just went fishing. And
Did you catch anything?
No, zero. He got a couple bites though, and he was stoked. Yeah. So it's like, I see these little experiences and want to validate, like, when he does get excited about something, like, let's do it, man. Let's make it happen. That is gonna, and he's brought it up multiple times. Like, remember when we went fishing, Dad? Like, well, yeah, it was 3 days ago. But he is so stoked on things, and that's like where I want to dig in more.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to let something go and just, oh yeah, we'll do it, and just put it off, because that's what matters.
Right. No, I've learned that for sure. I it's cool because at this point, I am my son's hero.
Yeah.
And I wasn't before. But now it's like, he comes out here to California and he sees like what I do.
Yeah.
And he sees my videos online, and he
That's
shows
my dad.
all of his buddies and things like that. And yeah, he's like, it's cool.
Yeah.
But I need to get better at really valuing like his perception of things, or his perspective of things, and it's tough because I didn't have that growing up. Like my dad was a great dad, really great dad, taught me a ton, but the things that mattered to me, they just didn't really matter to him.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm finding now is, how I've been, and it's been something that I've been trying to work on as much as I can.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's tough. That is really tough.
It's super tough. And then you realize, though, like, the most formative years of their life are like probably, I don't know, up to like 15, 16. Because then, 17, 18, you're kind of off doing your own thing. You're kind of like, wow, I only have a few years to like actually show them that I care.
Right.
Show them that I'm invested. Show them that I want to learn what I don't know about Pokemon. Guess what? I've got Pokemon Go on my phone now because he wants to show me stuff and do stuff. And it's like, all right, dude, let's do it.
That's still a big thing, huh, Pokemon?
Oh, he's into it. Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's a big thing with 6-year-olds apparently.
Oh.
And Roblox.
Roblox. Oh, yeah.
I've had to learn so much. Skibbity toilet.
Oh,
see, you're not even in? Oh, dude.
My son's 12 now.
There's a whole new language.
It's crazy. My son knows all basketball statistics. He
That's
knows
cool.
Every player.
That's his thing.
That's his thing.
Yeah.
That's his jam. And I don't like basketball.
Yeah.
I don't like sports.
I don't follow any sports. I think that's why my wife married me. I don't watch any sports.
I think that women are attracted to guys who don't watch sports.
It's weird though, because at the fire service they kind of make jokes. I'm a little, but I don't watch any sports. I don't at all. And my dad loves sports. He's great. He knows them all. We had hockey tickets growing up. He had baseball tickets. I'd go. It's fun, but like I don't follow him at all. I have no clue.
The only sport I watch is professional wrestling.
Oh, I was just listening to a podcast with John Cena.
I love him.
Yeah,
I love John
that
Cena.
is an educated man.
He's great.
Incredible.
He's really great. Yeah, I like professional wrestling. I have a hat, and it says professional wrestling and ska music are the only true forms of art.
Wow. Don't tell a tattoo artist that. He's like, I can hear you.
He agrees.
He's a Bad Brains guy.
He
He overpaid him for a vintage Bad Brains shirt.
Paid $400 for a vintage.
$400?
Sweated and it's an original.
Crustied.
Crusty.
See, I don't know. Even if that was a doesn't matter expenditure, I don't know if I could just put $400 value on a t-shirt.
I can. I really can. I like cool
Because of the
shit.
sentimental purpose.
Not even. I'm not a sentimental person. Not nostalgic. None
Oh,
of
see,
it.
I'll differ with you there because I think you are.
No, it's not. I like cool shit that nobody else has.
Because it gives you value.
Yeah. Even if it's obscure. I just like knowing, like, I have this Bad Brain shirt that I wear it and I love it and nobody has it.
Can
All
you
right.
authenticate it from the band, like from their merch table?
Oof.
It was $400, Steve.
Well, I mean,
$400.
I can rough up an old shirt and call it that, but
So I should start selling these.
To me, it's worth it.
it's still real to me.
It's real. It's cool to me. It's worth it.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Okay, Steve?
I respect it.
You got any more bullshit you want to just spew
I
out?
respect it.
Just shirts back then were just different. Back then they weren't like good. They were chunky. They were like cheap.
No, this is like one of these. Like, it's like soft because it's been sweating,
crustified.
booze stained.
Yeah.
Merch table moved. Yeah.
I
That's
like
Bad
it.
Brains.
I like it.
You know, it's like discolored.
No. I mean, I don't like Bad Brains, but I like that you have a vintage shirt and it's not like a reprint from like whatever. Because it's all you go to sites now. That's all it is.
People spend that on like a Louis Vuitton shirt.
That's true. But also doesn't make sense to me. I don't need it just to say LV.
No,
I don't know.
I like nice shit.
I like it. I respect it.
You know, but this isn't about me. This is about you.
Well,
What's the weirdest thing that you own?
so my little office, the walls are covered with weird stuff.
Oh,
I am
Do tell.
eclectic. Oh, there's butterflies in boxes, and there's a bat in a jar, and there's just a bunch of weird stuff.
a
So,
real bat?
well, it's dead.
It was.
Yeah, at one point. I mean, I guess it still is real, but it is not alive.
It's just like a carcass, or is it like spread out? Like
No, it's like hanging in like a glass cloche bell jar.
and it preserves.
Yeah, it's preserved.
Stuffed.
I haven't checked inside, but it looks like a bat, so they probably stuffed it. I don't know. I'm not a
It's
taxidermist.
an oddity.
Wow,
Yeah, so I've got a bunch of weird stuff. And then my grandma collected a bunch of weird stuff. And so now I've got a bunch of weird stuff from her. Just Japanese paintings and just random stuff that she'd collected from traveling the world.
She was a big traveler.
Oh my gosh. I actually have framed on the wall. She has this just yellow notebook paper, and and she probably had to stop, but it was like Russia 1960, Poland 1960, and just every place that she had traveled. I was like, this is awesome. And just in her handwriting, just on a wrinkled piece of notepaper. And I found it at their house. I was like, I'm framing that.
Damn, my grandma didn't do shit.
Yeah.
She drank, smoked cigarettes,
Yeah. Well, that's something.
then she got saved.
That's something.
You want to hear a funny story?
I do.
Well, I know which one you're doing. Go ahead.
Damn, Steve, you're fucking me up, man. So my grandma, she was Native American,
Yeah.
like from the fucking
What tribe?
Potawatomi Huron,
All right.
Midwest Native, and she was she drank a lot. You know, she's like a recovering alcoholic. She would never admit it. And smoked a ton of cigarettes. But anyways, she died. She got dementia, like lost her marbles.
Yeah.
Okay. And my uncle, I'd never met him before. For some reason, like my dad never talked about him. I found out later on why, but he's like straight up off the reservation.
Yeah.
Like has like the drum around his neck. He plays drums like in the rain dances.
That's
and
awesome.
Stuff. Like drives a conversion van with like a wolf like howling into the moon. Type
Airbrushed.
shit. Oh yeah. Probably just the sticker, you know. It's like peeling off.
Spin
it's like
on
shitty.
booze.
And he came up to give her eulogy. And he was like, yeah, you know, and he talks like that wasn't a good impression. He talks like a native. You know, Nancy, you know, like that. Like
Yeah.
really, like,
That's the one good impression you have.
Nancy was a fun gal until she got saved and became what'd she say? Became a raging bitch like all you Christians. And I was like, oh my God, this is in the middle of the church. I was just telling about this massive church, and my grandpa, I won't get into this story, but I have a very strange story about my grandparents. And my grandpa's like a deacon, you know, like this was a big funeral.
Yeah.
And he just
went off.
My brother and I looked at each other like, this guy's the fucking shit. He's awesome. He doesn't give a fuck.
He's authentic.
Yes, very.
Yeah.
But I'm like, Dad, why you been keeping this guy from me? And it turns out he was a piece of shit growing up to them. So that's why. But that's not neither here nor there. It was the best eulogy ever given.
Out of church.
Out of church. Yep.
Yeah.
I killed my grandma. So not really. But I was there when she died.
I feel like this is a painful story.
Not at all.
He didn't kill her, but he was, there.
I say that I did.
I remember her last words. Justin,
Did
what are we
you?
doing?
No, she wasn't. So she, like I said, she had dementia. I didn't like her at all.
Okay.
Like she was kind of mentally abusive,
Yeah.
my brother and I. And she had dementia, and then like she was in like an induced coma, you know. So like she was like holding on,
Yeah.
like months.
Oh, that's kind of hard to see.
Yeah, I didn't see until my mom would like beg me, go see your grandma. She's gonna go.
Yeah.
You know, you need to make right. You know, you need to forgive her and stuff like that. And I'm like, fuck this. I don't want to be around that bitch. Like, I don't want anything to do with her. And finally, my mom convinced me. So I went in to the hospice, and there she was. And I was like, all right, Grandma. Like, I didn't mean it. I'm like, I forgive you. You can go now. Boom, flatlined right there.
Oh my gosh. She was waiting for you.
Maybe.
She was waiting for you.
And the nurse was like, there was no sign of her going.
Wow.
So I joke about it and say I killed my grandma.
I mean, I don't want to say you did, but
He's the angel of death.
I'm the angel of death.
yeah. Wow, that's no joke. How do you feel about that?
Indifferent.
Wow.
And I'm not an indifferent person.
That's some heavy power that you have.
I know.
Great responsibility right
You got
there.
to be careful after leaving here.
Yeah. With great power comes great responsibility.
No, I just, like I said, it was not being around her wasn't the most pleasant thing.
Yeah, that's hard to hear.
My other grandma's great.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
She's a lunatic, but she's great.
Well, that sometimes make them the best.
Yeah.
I had really positive experience with my grandparents, so I can't echo that, but yeah, that's gnarly.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just growing up. It wasn't like very close. My dad kind of took us away from everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
He didn't want. That's the best thing that I can tell you that my dad kind of built into me was like the ability to like cut out people when they're not serving their purpose any longer.
That has been a skill set I have only recently learned.
That is exactly what it is a skill set.
Yeah.
Because he took a huge risk and just like moved my mom, my brother, and I to the East Coast to Maine and left everything.
Yeah.
Didn't even look back.
Yeah. There was so many people in my life that were, I'd call them acquaintances, right? But you feel like you owe them the world, or you feel like you have to put on this show, and it's like, what am I wasting time and energy and effort for when there's nothing in return?
Right.
Or why? Why am I doing this? Just because I feel like I need some type of validation or something?
Correct.
So being able to have the wherewithal of, and you don't have to do it rudely, but just like these people don't serve a purpose anymore. Like,
Right. And a lot of them don't.
yeah,
You know, I always say, and we were in another show the other day, and I was like, you know, blood and family are not the same thing.
right. In fact,
you
most
choose.
of my family is not blood.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Same. My family's out here. You know, other than
Well, actually, if we want to get real deep, I'm adopted, so technically my family isn't my
oh really?
blood. Yeah,
So you're adopted.
I'm adopted.
Have you ever met your real parents?
Yeah, so I know my birth mom. She's awesome. She's like my twin. It's kind of weird, like nature versus nurture.
Really?
That's weird. So she
Well, you
was
seem like a good guy. What did you do wrong? Why did
she was pregnant. I got pregnant
Can I ask you
through
something?
Yeah.
Did she leave you at the firehouse?
No.
Oh.
No. She thankfully found my parents through an adoption agent, but she got pregnant, knew that she wasn't going to be able to
Wouldn't that be ironic?
That would be. Yeah, if I was like a safe surrender baby. And then now
Now you're a fireman?
yeah.
It's like you never left.
There could be a movie, but no, not me. She knew that she wasn't going to be able to raise a kid. Her mom had died. Her dad was an alcoholic. She was 19, didn't know what to do. She found an adoption agency, found my parents, met them before she ever gave birth to me. So she like picked them out and
that's
and
great.
chose them. And then, yeah, hey, ring, ring. I gave birth like day one. My parents were there at the.
Do you look like your adopted parents?
My dad has a mustache. I do. Yeah, he's got
But
blue
they're
eyes.
white.
Yeah. So am I.
I'm just kidding.
He's a man and I'm a man. So
Yeah.
no, we do. Yeah, we definitely do. But then I'd always known I was adopted, but then I didn't meet her, I don't think, until like my 9th birthday. And then I think at my 13th. And then when I turned 18, I was like, hey, I want to know everything. And
So you talk to her now?
oh yeah, all the time.
Really?
Yeah, and she is like, it's weird. We have the same like energy and personality and mannerisms. And it's like, this is weird. 'Cause
That's
you didn't
amazing.
raise me at all, and I am identical to you.
That's really cool.
So nature versus nurture, it's crazy.
I know that's a great story. I didn't mean to make light of it, but it's just great.
No, I do.
it's,
I
you
totally look at my dad. I'll send you a picture.
know. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's cool. I have a lot of friends that are adopted.
yeah. We can turn out all right.
Yeah.
I always joke with my parents there was a no return policy.
Oh yeah. Did they ever say that they would return you?
No. And my mom always got so offended. Like, and I was like, well, how much did you pay for me? And she's like, Daniel, this is not. She's going to hear this and get offended. Not really.
Yeah, maybe don't show her this one.
No, she will. She'll see it. That's good.
My phone's been going bananas.
That's all right. You're popular. Some would say.
Not cool enough to have you skip Yosemite.
No. I got to keep you in check a little bit, you know?
That's
I can't
okay.
let it go to your head.
No, that's okay. I need
Yeah.
people like that.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of enablers out there.
Yeah. No, you're just Justin.
I'm just saying, I don't know
Yeah.
anything else.
Yeah.
What do you like to do for fun?
Ooh. Jack of all, master of none.
Yellowstone.
Yeah, I like to go to Yosemite, not Yellowstone.
Same place.
It's not. They're like not even close. They're not even in the
2,000
same
miles
state.
away.
Yeah. Gosh. Read a book, Justin. Read a book.
I've read plenty.
Our
Educate
guys
yourself.
lived everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Educate yourself.
I just don't know geography that well.
Man, I do a lot of different random things. I went to school for welding, so I like to build random stuff every once in a while.
Nice.
It's become more of just a necessity now. Like if something breaks, then I do it. But it used to be just for fun.
How often does something break that you have to weld back together?
Very, very rarely.
I was gonna say.
Extremely rarely.
Like I've never been
like
in
once
a
a year.
situation. Okay.
I will have like a gate that breaks or something, and I fix it
Yeah,
or something
okay.
that.
Home ownership.
Yeah, very rarely now.
Yeah. Just not a trait because it's never
Yeah.
never been a situation where I'm like, man, I could weld that together. I wouldn't be able. I wouldn't know where to start. I know you got to put a helmet on.
That is true. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
What about soldering?
Very, very little soldering that I've done.
I knew how to solder.
That's like electronics, right?
Yeah, but it's kind of like a similar thing, right?
Maybe.
Not entirely.
I mean, I guess you're
I
like
know how to
you're
solder, like,
melting a
pickups.
metal.
You're like
Stuff in your
gluing
guitar.
things. Soldering is like almost gluing together versus welding is melting two metals together. And then
I
having
thought soldering
them
was
come-
melting.
I mean,
It
yes.
is, but you're using like soldering in resin and different things. It's
It shows what I know, man. I don't know stuff like this. This is
We're gonna turn you into a handyman.
Oh, good luck.
Yeah. Do you own any tools? No.
He's got Binford, we call it.
I got the Binford.
It's not. It's
$5,000,
not.
dog. What are you
It's an
talking
old
about?
Ryobi. It's an old Ryobi, the blue ones.
Tim the
before
Tool
they
Man
changed.
was my idol. growing
Was he?
up. Yeah. Oh, I love that show.
Yeah, I know how to like hang a frame.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, you called me to come over and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm at the level where my wife was like, "Hey, our staircase is a little dark. Like, can we just put a hole through this wall?" And I was like, "Sure." So like, move some studs over and open it up, and
You can do all that.
yeah, yeah. There's kind of a beauty in the fire service of you learn how to do everything, not well, but you learn
How
enough.
the stairs turn out.
Fantastic. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. I completely rebuilt them. But yeah, I can.
Well,
I
you
can
deal
do
enough structures
thing or
when you
two.
go to a place, so you kind of figure out, oh, they're like this other thing. Yeah.
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 I would, if you like had me like, you know, we got to do drywall, I'd be like, are you fucking kidding
But see, I think that was also a thing that gave me value. Like, oh, I can fix things. That was like my thing.
Oh, yeah.
I own too many tools. I could build anything right
You
now.
got them all.
Yeah.
Hammer.
Yes. I also have a hammer.
Multiple hammers.
Yes.
Different uses. They have different ones,
You want a
Justin.
ball
They
peen?
ha-
You want a
they have
framing? You
different-
want a claw? You want a...
Okay, slow down.
non-marring?
You want a single jack? You
You
want
want
a-
non-marring?
I got
hammer?
the one with the prying part on the other side.
Claw.
It's a claw.
Yeah.
That's what it's called?
There's a claw hammer. Yeah, there's a framing hammer. There's a
Double-sided.
finishing hammer. There's
Finishing.
Oh, my God, you guys.
yeah, there's all sorts of kinds.
We're going to have a whole nother podcast where you just teach me tools.
We could. Yeah.
Tool time.
Tool time.
Tool time.
But you'll be like the neighbor with the hat, and then I'll be like Tim Allen, where I just
Yeah.
halfway repeat what you said in a completely wrong manner.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be over there like playing like
Just give Justin the tool and say, here, use this.
Or like, what do you think this is for? And you're just like, I don't know.
I have no clue. Yeah. Dude.
So I bought a 100-year-old home. I don't know why. Hindsight is 2020.
Sounded good at the time.
Yeah, it sounded great. I got
That's the
an,
house you live in now?
Yep, I got an old Craftsman, and it was great, right? Because it gave me purpose. I always had a project, and now I actually know who I am and really have a purpose, and I don't have time to just fix a house. So it's been a pain.
Yeah.
But it's great.
Damn.
Yeah.
I look at you totally different now. You have a whole new value to me.
Thank you. Yeah.
Because now when I need
I
to
can
have
hang your
something-
picture. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I got Steve.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Steve. But, you know, his work is it's a little shoddy, man.
I'll make sure it's in a stud.
It gets the job done.
Yeah.
It gets the job. It's yet to fall down.
Yeah.
But if you ever move out of there, you might need to get a little help with getting those things down. Just saying.
So, yeah, no, we did this stuff, the
Yeah.
wall stuff, and that's about it. You
Yeah.
know?
No, I like
But-
building stuff.
Yeah, I was like always, you know, I grew up in like a sales environment. Like I was just working in an office or a showroom and stuff like that. So there was never time to do that stuff. I was just paid to have it done.
Yeah.
You know?
My dad is kind of an enigma. So he started his own business and has had it for the last 40 years. Very
What type of
successful.
business?
He's in the electronics industry. So he's a distributor. He doesn't manufacture, he doesn't build, but he has all the permits and contracts and licenses that when Apple says, hey, we're building 5,000 new of these and we need this little microchip, he knows where to go get it from and then sells it to Apple.
Oh, cool.
So he's done that every time that I've known him. But he's also been really handy. So always around the house, he was doing stuff. He was mowing the lawn. He was fixing stuff. And so I grew up just kind of like seeing that. And like that was like, oh, that's what I have to do. That's part of being a man. And so I don't know. That was like my thing. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy every single tool.
Never seen my dad push a lawnmower.
Yeah. I still mow my own lawn.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. I don't have a lawn, so I wouldn't.
I am jealous. Yeah. It takes me like 3 hours. It's too big.
Yeah.
But here I am.
Yeah, I admire it. You know, Scotty owned a construction company, and
Yeah.
he knows all the tools, dude. He knows like there's like the saws, all of it.
Yeah.
This guy knows tools.
Yeah.
And I asked him, like, I went into Home Depot the other day, and I was fucking lost. I'm like,
That
I
is my
FaceTimed him.
favorite store.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I could just go there. Like just to hang out. Like I just
dude.
love.
And then the screws? Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh,
There's
whole aisle.
10,000 screws.
Yeah.
And they're not in like
A tool for every purpose, Justin.
yeah.
Yeah.
But they're not in like the Dewey Decimal System. Like, there's no.
Well, yeah, man. You gotta have standard. You gotta have metric. You gotta have the different length. Different,
Fuck you,
different
Steve,
courses.
that's crazy.
You want a course
Drywall,
screw?
decking, wood.
Right. So, yeah. So I FaceTime him. I'm like, bro, I'm having a fucking panic attack in here. Like,
Yeah.
help me out. Walk me through this. And he did.
Yeah.
And I left. And when I went out, I played country music in my truck on the way home. I
Yes.
listen to country music, but
America.
I felt like
It felt right.
Like
It felt right.
I
Yeah.
felt blue collar.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah. It's a different brand, but I've got a sweatshirt that, blue collar. I like it.
But it's a sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just that was never part of my childhood.
It's all right. You made it. You're still a valuable person.
Yeah, I got these Turkish guys, and I have them saved in my phone as Turkish handyman.
That's awesome.
And whenever I order something from Amazon that requires being put together, I call them like, "Yes, boss, be right there." And they come out. They live, I think.
What have you ordered from Amazon that requires construction? I'm going to say anything you've ordered from Amazon, you could have put together yourself.
Funny you should say that.
Like a desk,
Yeah.
That was me.
like
That
this
came
thing?
with like
That was
the
me.
little Allen wrench type desk.
Yep, that was me.
I ordered a barber chair.
That was almost pre-assembled.
Well, I had the Turkish guys put it together. A grill? You ever try to put together a grill?
I've put together multiple grills.
Yes.
Well, I'm calling you.
I used to work in my first job, 14 years old, Ace Hardware. That was my job, just assemble grills.
Did the same thing
Dude,
at Lowe's and Home
that's,
Depot. Same
I'm
thing.
sorry, but
grill
that,
season.
I opened it up and I was like scratching my head, like, what the fuck am I gonna do?
You
with
got a nice
this
Weber though. It's a nice Weber.
Hey, dude, speaking of grills, we got a Blackstone. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I
Is
got
that
two
what's
of them.
up?
Got two of them.
Dude,
Jake does too.
it's a game changer. I love
It's
charbroil.
electric?
No, it's propane, but it is
Flat
a grill.
top.
It's
Flat
just a
top.
cast iron flat top. So like smash burgers or whatever. But instead of, okay, you don't get the flame broil. I get it. But everything is just sitting in its
about that.
juice cooking, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
is so much
Game
more.
changing.
Oh, my
Best way to
gosh.
have a steak.
All right, yeah, because
Oh, my
done.
gosh.
Yeah, you want to know what's even funnier?
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna judge me for this.
Well, we already are.
Where we are. Keep going.
I got a contact in my phone, Chinese grill cleaners, and they're the only reason because I remember because they're Chinese.
I can respect that, though. Sometimes a grill it needs
They
a lot
come to
of
my
work.
house and clean my grill.
Yeah,
They
I
tear-
can
they
respect
There
that.
are
it
services
apart.
for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Thumbtack, dude. I use it for everything.
I can respect that.
And and like I am hanging pictures now, and I have pictures to hang up.
proud of
and
you.
lately, I've been getting a lot of awards. Not really to
Did you hang your YouTube yourself?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, man. I'm
Yeah, I
proud of
used
you.
a nail and I used a hammer. I probably used the wrong type of nail.
It's all right.
But it worked. It's up there.
It's up there. It has yet to fall, and I bumped it a few times. But yeah, I just go to Thumbtack and then I overpay them.
Yeah.
This is what I've learned: is you or get a guy and hope they speak good English, and if they speak Spanish, I got a wife for that. But if they speak something else, it's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
So you have to like do Google Translate or text translate.
Right.
But this my Turkish guy the son speaks decent English, and he fucking loves me on Instagram.
Yeah.
He fucking is always in my stories and stuff like that. Oh, you want to know what's really cool too? Is I have a lot of clothes that I had just never wear. I still have tags on them, like nice shit, like
Yeah.
brand new Lululemon stuff.
And he's rocking it.
Dude, I give them like bags of stuff.
Yeah.
and
Because
they're,
you
like,
treat
way
your
too
people
big.
right.
Yeah.
And they're going to
yeah.
keep.
And anytime I need anything,
Yeah.
they're just like, boom. And I overpay them. I'm like, how much is that? It's like $50. I give them like $250. I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you fucking kidding me? So yeah. And like now it's like, but to me, I look at it like this, like any sort of like task. And we talked about this actually yesterday. There was a reel that came out that was like, you should never do laundry. If you own a business, you should never do
Yeah.
laundry,
seen
cook or clean or
Right.
anything like that. Like you should, and I've always been this way, where it's like I'm only doing income earning activities.
Yeah.
So then when I have downtime, I can enjoy my life with my wife
Yeah.
and my dogs. And
That 1 hour I was doing dishes, I could have been making $10,000.
right,
Yeah.
right. It doesn't make sense. So that's why I have a barber chair in my house too.
Yeah.
Is so I can like work, and then Miguel comes, lets himself in, sets up, puts all his stuff out, and I'm like, Jay, I'm here.
Waxes your head.
Come down. He just does my beard, but sometimes he'll shave my head when I'm feeling frisky. But like anything that is like just not, And I've learned that if I just really take care of people, like above and beyond, way outside of the ordinary, he charges me $40 for a haircut. I Venmo him $200.
Yeah.
Like just without thinking. It's just like, boom. And, and it's like, and I have him come every single week.
Yeah.
So he makes $800 a month just from coming to my house. And he loves coming to my house anyways. We're buds,
Yeah.
And it's cool. But at this point now, he's like, I always just feel so honored walking in here and doing this. Like, you take such good care of me, and obviously I'm gorgeous. So it worked out really well.
You are beautiful. A tall drink of water. I would.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah.
That's the example I saw growing up. My dad is the most gracious guy and just giving beyond. Owns this company, could do anything he wants, and he would always be like, no, we're gonna like buy a nice, just kind of a normal car and keep it for 10 years and like just use his money to help other people.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's awesome.
Generosity is the greatest skill.
Yeah.
It's a skill. It is.
I think it is, and I think it is now just like who he is.
Yeah.
He's practiced it so much that like he is just, that is anything. You call him up and he'll just, I'll be right there. Yeah, I'll come help you. Yep, I'm there.
It's those things go so far, and when it's just fucking money, but like, and I don't even think like the money means nothing to me going out, but to that
It means
person,
the world.
The money means a lot to them
Yeah.
because it's like it's a resource, but then also it's like, you thought to do that for me.
Yeah.
So it's cool. I can remember like, we'd go on cruises a lot as kids. My dad would let me take like 2 buddies with me and stuff like that. And if you've ever been on a cruise before,
Endless ice cream.
and the soda card, but if you've ever been on a cruise before, that you give the bags right to the thing, and then it usually takes the whole day for them to get to your room.
Yeah.
So then like you have to like wear whatever you're going to wear the rest of the day. And that's what you have to do. So I always remember him, like we get out of the car, like whatever, the driver would drop us off in Miami or wherever. And he would just have like a wad of hundreds, and he would just boom, 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 and just hand out this cash. And we would get on the ship and our stuff would be like all set up, all ready to go in our room, like way ahead of time.
Yep.
And everybody else is like hot, like in their jeans or whatever, like they want to go in the pool and stuff like that. And it's
You're
like,
done.
It's just handled.
Yeah.
And ever since then, it's been like, I'm just going to take care of people, and it's come back tenfold, thousandfold, but it's now the way we're wired.
Yeah.
But it is because, even if that means you have to get a little bit uncomfortable to be generous, you will see it on the other end, and you have to like have that mindset. Like you don't expect it.
Yeah.
But it's going to happen.
1 year for my mom's birthday, she is sorry, Mom. She's the old lady on Facebook that doesn't know how to use it and doesn't know how to, but she posted on her status for her birthday that the gift she wanted was for other people to go be generous. And so like her whole comment thread was like, hey, I just paid for somebody's Starbucks. Hey, and it was like really, I was like, Mom, that was awesome. Like she just got 500 people to go be generous.
Yeah.
Like that is a cool gift.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I loved when the pay it forward thing started happening on Starbucks.
Yeah.
That's probably
she must have seen one of those things because that's where it started. But then, people were just like, hey, I just paid for this guy's lunch. Hey, I just did this. Hey, I just dropped. Hey, I just Venmoed. It's like, that is so cool. That's such a cool idea.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. We, one of the big ones was we had a Christmas party, a pajama party, and you would have loved, like, it was sick.
Oh, yeah.
In my house. So, Tim Lambesis was there, Brandon Chapetti, like, it was just fun, what I mean? But I had this young kid. So I was walking down Rodeo with my wife, and we had just parked my Benz like in front of the Gucci store, and like, we were shopping and spending some dough and stuff. And those kids that are like, hey, that's a whatever Rolex, blah, blah, blah. What do you do for work? Like they stop you and they film you.
Yeah.
Well, I got stopped, and they were like, yo, you're wearing, at the time I was wearing some Rolex, and he was like, you're wearing, and I was right by my car. And he was like, we saw you pull up. He's like, what do you do for work? And I'm like, I do like, online coaching and stuff like that. And they like whatever. And the kid is named Soham, and hopefully he's watching this. We've become actually pretty close since then. He's like, we started talking after they interviewed me, and we hit it off. And he's like, hey, by the way, I'm a magician. And he's like, and I'm a resident magician at the Magic
That's
Castle.
awesome. That is awesome.
He's like, and if you guys ever want to come in,
Yeah.
well, just text me and I'll get you in. So we did. We ended up going there. We brought him a gift and stuff like that because I think it's customary. At least that's what my wife, whatever. We were just like, we'll just bring him a gift. But I think you're supposed to, if you get invited in by a magician, because you have to be invited to go there.
Yeah.
And so we brought him a gift, and he put on a private show for me, Matt, our CFO, Matt Baugh, and Dana, his girl. And we just had the best time.
That's
he
awesome.
did some wild shit too.
Yeah.
So we hired him to come to our Christmas party and to do, because he also does like stand-up comedy too. He's a young kid. He's like 21.
Skilled.
And he's like, if I can just bring my content guy, I'll just do it for free. I'm like, okay, cool. Like I knew I was gonna, And so it was like December 23rd or something like that. And he kills it. Absolutely crushes it. And all of our friends are just everybody enjoyed it so much. And he wrapped up, packed up his stuff, and he was headed out, and he got to his car. I'm like, all right, I'll send you a Venmo. He's like, no, you don't have to pay me. I'm like, oh, you can get gas money or, whatever.
Yeah.
And I kicked him $5,000.
Oh my gosh. He was stoked.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Bro. And I
thought you were going to give me like 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, dude, I probably should have given him after the first, so he didn't have to pay taxes on it. But no, but
that's awesome.
He was just blown away. And now, like whenever I need someone, I need a magician for an event.
Yeah, he's the guy.
Oh, by the way, we should have Soham come to our event that Dan's not going to be at because he's going to be in Yellowstone, fucking playing with the Duttons.
Yeah, I'm so excited to go to Mount Rushmore.
That's there too.
Yeah,
they're all in one spot, man. It makes it easy for everybody.
That mountain's kind of gay. All the dudes' faces.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's pretty gay.
That is some rather. You got to think highly of yourself to be like, we're gonna make a mountain with our faces.
Yeah.
JWX.
I've driven by it. It's actually underwhelming.
Didn't people die like building it?
Yeah, I think back then people died building everything.
Well, that's true.
They didn't have the right tools. They didn't have the right hammers.
Oh, that's
They needed you and Scotty.
Always goes back.
tying it back in. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a guy like me handing them the tools. They're like, Justin, no.
Disastrous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's next
I don't know.
for you?
I don't know. This has all been a roller
That's the right
coaster.
answer.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know.
the right answer. We don't need to know.
This has been a roller coaster. It's been a fun ride, and I'm truly excited like every day. It's been the coolest opportunity. So the fire service is great. There's a few people that we actually get to like really help, really change their life. Like, all right, we did something. Every day there's somebody messaging me that's like, hey dude, I need to talk. Hey, I need help. Hey, I'm going through. And it's like, this is so much more rewarding, so much more. And not that that's what I need, but it feels like it's a greater purpose and more valuable. And it's, yeah. So what's next? I don't know. I'm just excited to keep going and just keep helping people.
It's good.
It's been really cool.
It's good. Yeah, it doesn't fucking matter what's next. You know that because we learned this in sobriety, right? We live in the moment.
Yeah.
Right?
One day.
This is serenity, one day at a time. And when you live in the moment, you are making decisions in the moment and assuming that you have a clear head, a purpose, the right support, the right guidance. You're going to make the right decision in the moment. So what's next doesn't fucking matter. Assuming you're making the right decisions in the moment, you're going to have a good future.
Just keep making them.
Right. That's it.
Yeah.
So you positioned yourself well. You came on to, you wanted to do something. You met us. We're doing it successfully. We show people how to do it. And now we just need to put in the work, right? The tools are there. Those are tools that I do know about.
You do. You know them very well.
So we go to work.
Yeah.
This has been a good show.
Thanks
You're
for having me.
fucking awesome. I love you to death.
Sorry, this rabbit trailed down every road.
Who fucking cares? It's Wolves Only Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. If you like what you saw, if you like what you heard, if you're still with us 2 hours later, make sure you click subscribe. Make sure you comment on here. Make sure you like, save, share, do all that good stuff. We're going to put Dan's information down below so you guys can reach out to him if you're looking for a badass coach that's just ready to change your life. And bro, thank you so much for coming on this show. This was great.
Thanks, buddy.
We're out. All right, guys, that wraps up an episode of the Wolves Only podcast. Listen, if you guys like what you heard, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like and comment, help us get our message out there. If you want to work with our team, go ahead and click the link in the description below. Schedule a call with us. We'd love to get you on. We really appreciate you guys listening. And if you have any other questions, you can reach out to us on all forms of social media. Thank you so much.